that are watching what's happening and not reacting like I feel like, am I losing my mind? So, which is why I write a lot. And when I say I'm a Facebook warrior, I rant about conditions today. I write a lot of, rants. There's no other way to put it. And I do a lot of them in the middle of the night because I can't sleep because I'm going insane. So anyway, it keeps me from totally losing it. And that's why I got into politics. I thought I can do all this ranting, but what am I really accomplishing? Am I changing anybody's mind? Not really. I'm preaching to the choir mostly. So I thought, well, hell, I'll find a cause, a political cause that I could get behind, get involved with, and have an effect. So I looked around, did some asking around, did more ranting on Facebook, put some questions out there. Who's out there? What's happening? And I decided that within my radius, within this sphere of influence that I have, which maybe is growing a little bit, there's a guy by the name of Mark Amadei. Also, if you were in our last meeting, he is the official state reptile. I don't know if you knew that. It's not the tortoise, it's Mark Amadei. Anyway, I digress. So I thought, well, that's the target, that's the guy. And I helped last time a little bit, but now this Nevada is really going blue, which is a beautiful thing. Right? It's fantastic. Blue is my favorite color, coincidentally, but it's also looking at the map and seeing we're a blue state now, and we have one district left that's a holdout. We've got 4 districts total, 3 are red. 3 are blue, 1 is red, and it's where we happen to be standing. It's where we live, which is, what the hell's going on? We got to fix that, right? So that's why I got involved. And I prefer, trust me, I prefer when politics was boring. You didn't have to worry about it. You take for granted a dull, kind, articulate man like, I don't know, Barack Obama would insult our allies or say something ridiculous or embarrass me as an American. I knew he was out there doing his thing. Now and then I'd see his speech and, I'd shed a Democratic tear. That's my guy. But I didn't want to worry about it. Now I'm worried about it. It's a threat. I got kids. I've got children, and they're going to have kids. Our water is under threat. Our air is under threat because of, I'm preaching to the choir. I'm doing what I do on Facebook, but I'm commiserating with you. And so we're here for the same reason. We got to fix what's within our sphere of influence. And being here is a beautiful thing. You're involved. Democracy is not a spectator sport. We're participating, and that's why you're here. Whether you're here to write a check, or volunteer, or just root this man on, it's an important part of living in a democracy, and it's our responsibility. And that's why I'm here. Look at our state of education. What are we, 50th? I think we got bumped up to 49th, but it turns out it was a math error. Because they apparently had gone to school here. I digress. I'm kidding. Come on. You want me to tell the step in the pool joke again? I'll do it. Okay. Anyway, so we're all motivated. We're all here for a reason because we want to make change. And that guy's going to do it. We're all involved in our own little ways, but one of us has had the gumption and the commitment to stand up and do something about it. And he's got a good crew, he's got a nice team behind him, and we have high hopes. Last time we ended up at 42%, started at 0. This time we're starting at 42%, and we're going after Mark Amadei. There's a little primary before, but we're going to get to that. But leading our team, Clint Koble, would you come on up here? This is our campaign director, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, Clint Koble.
Well, thank you so much. He's always a hard act to follow, so I'm here with the boring stuff. But first of all, I want to thank every single one of you for coming out tonight. We know that you could be doing a million other things. You could be exploring Art Town, you could be dancing in the rain if that's something that you're into. But you're here. And you're here because you believe in Nevada's future. and you believe in change, and you believe that Clint Koble should represent you as your next congressman. So this is my first year in Nevada. I moved here with my husband last year from New Mexico, but before we moved, I thought, I want to get involved. So I need to find somebody who's running for office. I did a quick little search, and it said Clint Koble. Oh my God, I've actually never talked to another Clint in my entire life. So I called him up, and Clint answered. We had an hour-long conversation, and we agreed on every single idea, from affordable health care to climate change to equal pay. This was the guy. And I knew right away that I had to get this man elected. And we came in with 42% of the vote last year. I know it wasn't my doing. He came in with 42% of the vote. Now we're looking on building on top of that this year. We've got an incredible ground team. Raise your hand if you're a part of our team. These are the folks that work even harder than I do, each and every single day, to get Clint, to Further, to Fallon, to Elko. They release press releases. They work night and day to make this thing move. And we are moving mountains. Just today, the media has reported from Miami all the way to San Francisco, from Dallas to Kansas City, that Clint is challenging Mark Amadei. We've got some power behind us. But this is when it comes back to us. We are in the ground game here. It's going to take every single one of us here to get this man elected. We've got an uphill battle, but we know we can do it. It's going to take donations. It's going to take door knocking. It's going to take phone banking. And I know we can do it. They don't call us the battle-born state for nothing. We are ready for this fight. And we are ready for Clint Koble as our next congressman.
Thanks, Clint, and thanks, Dave. You know, as a candidate, you know you're in trouble when your staff is a hard act to follow. And I have to say, you know, it's always a pleasure listening to Dave, because I just know that sooner or later there's going to be something coming that's going to make me go, oh gosh, oh gosh, oh gosh. You know, but he's been very, very difficult tonight. So he's been so entertaining because I followed him a lot. We follow each other. We had a lot of talks. And it's just been great to know Dave and to know Clint, my campaign manager, all the staff that's on our team. So thank you very much. First of all, I want to thank Don and Susan Clark and your staff for hosting the event tonight. So our kudos to them for holding back. And of course, our staff, I wouldn't be up here. If it wouldn't be for them, I'd be sitting out there and you'd be throwing peanuts at someone else. So thanks to all my wonderful staff. I do want to take just one moment of silence for the passing of Tina Tillman, a great lady who left our community just, I think, last weekend. So let's just take a few seconds, and I want to talk a few words about her. Tina was a wonderful lady. She was a devoted Democrat, and she had many, medical and physical ailments. And yet, every Tuesday, she was out in front of the courthouse, federal courthouse, rallying and protesting, for health care. And she did it to the very, very end. And so we have Tina to thank for providing that inspiration. So thank you, Tina. Okay, I guess it's time to say it. I'm Clint Koble. I'm running for Congressional District number 2, and I will be the guy that plays Mark Amadei in Congress next year. And like Dave, it's hard to believe that here in 2009 we're still talking about whether or not climate change even exists. What age are we living in? Don't women deserve the same pay for the same work? Shouldn't we have a living wage for people who make $15 an hour so they can afford to live in our communities? Shouldn't women have their reproductive rights protected? Isn't it a right to have health care in this country? Shouldn't our public land stay in public hands? And why are we imprisoning children at the border? I can't believe we lost our heart and our soul in America. But our Congressman Mark Amadei has voted against many of the things that we hope for. He's voted against the ACA so many times I can't remember. He's voted against women's reproductive rights. He's voted against universal background checks. He's voted against the Equality Act. He's voted against the minimum wage. The list is so long, I can't remember. I have to write it down. That's not the type of representation we need and deserve in Washington. We live in a time of great income inequality. Most of you last year paid more taxes than Amazon did. That's not right, and it's not fair. Last year, the CEO of McDonald's made more money in about an hour than some of his employees made all year. That's not right, and it's not fair. Here in Reno, the median price for a home is about $400,000. And yet our minimum wage is a measly $7.25. That's not right, and that's not fair. We've got to change that. I'll support raising our minimum wage to $15 an hour. And I think we need to give tax breaks for the people who support our country. The middle class people, the small businesses, the working people. I'm going to guarantee that the corporations in the top 1% pay their fair share. That's how we move America forward, and that's how we build Nevada's future. And in case you've missed it, we're in a healthcare crisis in this country. It's just totally amazing. We're in danger of losing, some of the coverage for our pre-existing conditions. How does that happen in America? Costs are totally out of control. We're bankrupting Medicare because of high pharmaceutical costs. We have addictions because of pain medications that have been just poured onto our citizens. And what happened to our administration? They said, we've given up our attempt to lower the cost of prescription drugs. Really? Is that what they're going to do? Throw up their hands and say, we give up? We're going to let the industry figure it out? That's what's going to really do the ticket? I doubt that. And why does our congressman say, I'm in favor of voting for the president 98% of the time? They've got that as a solution to our health care. Just give it up and let the industry figure it out. We need somebody who's going to vote for Nevada 98% of the time, and I will be that person. This is something very good in my heart. I want to talk about the Equality Act because Congressman Mark Emily just voted recently against the Equality Act. I never thought I would know somebody who's against equality. I never thought in a million years somebody wouldn't want equality. I didn't think people woke up and said, I want inequality. I just didn't think that would ever happen. But it's happened with our congressman. And I have to tell you, folks, I don't care what color your skin is. I don't care what your religion, your political thought, who's your maker, who you love. You all are important to me. Home needs Nevada. And I say that I will protect everyone's rights, all rights, for people to live in Nevada and live their American dream. I am not going back where I came from. I'm staying here. I love Nevada, I work for Nevada, and I'm going to make Nevada better. Now, here's one thing that I'm just going to get a little bit sideways and it's not fairness because being a short guy, sometimes you think that life isn't always fair. The Citizens United and the recent ruling by the Supreme Court that federal courts can't prevent partisan gerrymandering just plain angered me. Actually, I take it back. It just pissed me off. I think that's wrong. How can we guarantee democracy in free and fair elections when we let gerrymandering be the rule of the day? That's wrong, and we've got to change that. And I will propose any legislation to overturn those two rulings as soon as I get to Washington. Thank you. Now, we all know that winning CD2 for the first time in 8 years as a Democrat isn't going to be easy. It's going to take determination. It's going to take a lot of hard work. But this is where you folks come in. With your persistence, your help, we can make things happen. We can change history. All we need is several hours a week from you folks. to help us. You can make calls from your couch. You can make it really easy at home. You can knock on doors. I've got some of the greatest door knockers in all of Reno sitting right here. They knocked on doors for me so many times, I think they know half of Reno already. And who would think that just a presidential term ago, a couple terms ago, that somebody with a funny last name would challenge the status quo and become president of this country? That was simply amazing, wasn't it? That fight is our fight. I'm not saying I got a funny last name. It's not Koble, it's Koble. But anyway, I'm not saying I got a funny last name. But it's the determination we have in our soul that we can make this thing work, and we can do it. So again, please, help us in our campaign. You can give us recurring donations. You can even give huge donations if you want. As long as you say we're never see it. And I need to tell you, we're not fueled by the corporate tax. We're 100% people power. That's us. And you know me, the old farm boy, I meet just like Wendell, my good friend, my bro, who comes from Iowa. Not quite as a good state as North Dakota. But anyway, as farm kids, we work hard. That's all we know. But I will continue to work hard. I will listen to your voices, and I will carry your will all the way to Washington, D.C. If I have to run the whole damn distance, I'll do it. I have no doubt that we can do this. We can overcome our challenges. Our campaign is not just who we're against, it's what we're for. We're for so many good things. For healthcare, women's reproductive rights, public lands, fairness, equality, making a decent living. That's us. Right makes might, and we're on the right side. I think we can move America forward, and we can build Nevada's future. We are the change that we hope to see. We can do this. We will do this. And with your help, I will do this. Thank you very much. Thank you, folks. I forgot to say that now that we're done, that I'm done talking, my staff would be happy to entertain any questions. No, actually, I would be happy to entertain any questions. So let's take some questions from the field, please. I want to hear some good questions. This gentleman on the left, Bruce. Yes.
So, in raising the minimum wage from its current pathetically low level, what would your strategy be, or your plan be, to incrementally put that to $15 an hour?
Well, the state of Nevada has got a plan to incrementally raise it. I think most states in the country have done it. They want to raise it like 75 cents or $1 an hour. It's going to be a big task to double our minimum wage here in Nevada in just 5 years. But if we incrementally raise it, we can do it. We can't do this overnight. We've got to have a good plan. We can move forward. We've got to have businesses plan for this. Because they've got business plans, but we can do this incrementally. We just have to stick to the plan to do that. Next question. Joyce.
We know Mark County has been pretty soft on allowing Yucca Mountain nuclear waste storage to occur, and now that we've seen the earthquakes happening in that area or nearby, that doesn't look like such a good idea. What's your view on hosting that nuclear waste?
When I was at the candidate forum with Mark Day last October, I was asked the very same question, and they said 3 words: no, no, and no. I think it's important that a representative reflect the will of the people. Whether he or she agrees or disagrees with that question, Joyce, their job is to reflect the will of the people. And most Nevadans don't favor Yucca Mountain. I don't favor Yucca Mountain. I say no, no, and no. More questions? Come on, folks. Go ahead.
What do you think about allowing oil and gas drilling in the Ruby Mountains?
Good. This is a repeat of the same question before. No, no, and no. I come from a state that has a lot of fracking. It just really destroyed our state. The rupees are a treasure, an absolute treasure in our state. The local people don't want it. Again, the will of the people says no, so I'm totally opposed to it. No, no, no. Okay. Yes, Dan.
It seems like we have gone way down the road in terms of climate change. And it's difficult to imagine how we're going to pull back at this point. What would be your plan to combat climate change? And what would you propose to do about it?
Ken, if the World Health Organization, 194 countries in our Department of Defense action, and we need it now. My first proposal would be that we elevate climate change to a cabinet level position. We've got to do this. That's one of our biggest threats in facing our country. We need to coordinate all the actions within our country and with other countries and elevate to a cabinet position and really get behind it and work on it to mitigate the facts. We have to first start with accepting science. Far back from Karen to Warren. Yes, Donnie.
I think you gave a laundry list of the sins of Abigail. What in particular do you think are his vulnerabilities?
Not voting for with the will of the people, and I'll go back to healthcare. Senator Dean Heller had a big bullseye on his head because he said he would defend the ACA and he didn't. Mark Amade has voted against the ACA so many times in the state. I think that's one of his most grievous acts. And I think that we have to remind him that we need health care, and he voted against it, and we need to remember that. Questions out there, Marcia? I'm sorry, then, Mark.
This is about healthcare. What the hell are we supposed to do? What the hell? I mean, our co-pays doubled. Steve and I are both on Social Security. We have a small farm. We don't make any money off of our farm, but we live off of our farm. So we have an advantage. But at the same time, double on a copay the first time we go, it's crazy. It's crazy. I quit going to nothing because I can't afford it.
I think one of the saddest commentaries I've heard about our country recently was from a constituent that said, I just don't know what to believe in anymore. That really wounded me. It's like this person had given up on America. There's enough damn money in our healthcare system to make it a lot more affordable. Trust me, there is. I do want to talk about Medicare for just a little bit. And first of all, I'm all for universal health care. It's in the federal system. It's going to happen. Is it going to happen overnight? No. But until it happens, I think one of the things that we could do, should do, it makes sense, it won't break the bank, and that is we should start lowering Medicare to age 62 immediately. So it falls in line with early Social Security. The unions like this because some of their workers who have worked hard in the trade industries, by the time they're in their early 60s, they can't do their work anymore. But if they retire at 62 with Social Security, then they have to pay high premiums on exchange for 3 more years. So we should make that in sync with each other. And then we should take the lessons learned from that and see from 62, where could we lower it next. So those are some of the things I want to do for healthcare. Barbara.
If you don't want people to stand up, don't make a good speech. What would you think of a bill that would make it illegal for insurance companies to deny coverage that is recommended by the doctor?
It's proposed in a couple of states. I think that would be an excellent thing to do. I would stand behind that. Yes, Steve?
What I'm finding out, one of my biggest problems in our country today is the horrible divisiveness. I've known you for years, Clint, and I know how you can walk on both sides of the aisle and bring people together. How can you help bring our nation back together into where we can at least talk to our neighbors again?
A couple of things. The first thing, I think you have to grant everyone you come in contact with dignity and respect. I don't care if you agree or disagree with them. I think it's terribly wrong for our president, for example, to demonize half the people in our country. That's what divides our country. We need to celebrate our differences and work together. So what if we have differences? Doesn't mean we can't work together and get things done. We just need to work on that. So it starts with dignity and respect. and just plain old-fashioned work. Sometimes I think we should lock Congress in a room and say, you're not getting out until you actually get something done. Maybe next message. Yes, sir. Sorry, Greg. I'll get you.
A big chunk of DC2 is Trump country.
Pardon, I'm sorry?
A big chunk of DC2 is Trump country. 2 years ago, it didn't work for you. You got a really respectable result, but you didn't get elected. Now, something must have told you, okay, this time I got a better chance, and you decide to run again. What is it that made you decide your chance this time is better?
Well, it wasn't the frontal lobotomy, I can tell you. No, I'll tell you why I think we can do it. First of all, last year was a very crowded race. We had a governor, lieutenant governor, attorney general, the big Senate race. It was very difficult for a neophyte candidate to get publicity, to get into that crowd. And I learned a lot. We did a lot with the little. So I think that we really feel that there's an opening for us next year. And when I look at the percentages of votes that Mr. Amade has had since 2014, where he won by 70-some%, in 16 he won by 60-some%, in 18 he won by 50-some%, I'm going to go out on a limb and predict that in 2020 he's only going to get 40% and he's not going to win. We have a big team. There's a lot of things that we didn't do last time because we were a little under-resourced, but we've got a great team this year and a great strategy, and we're hungry. Next question. Greg, did you have a question?
There we go. So last year, or the last year on record, 4,000 American veterans killed themselves in between the ages of 45 and 65. These are primarily the veterans who served in the military between the years of 1975 and 2001. And of the 17 million veterans that are part of that group, very, very few of them are actually eligible for any type of resources from the Veterans Administration. What would you do to try to improve that kind of coverage? What ideas might you have? I'm going to just throw you under the bus there.
First of all, I'm not going to privatize the Veterans Administration. I think the people that work for the VA are very passionate. They love the veterans. They know what they sacrifice for this country, and they work hard for them. And they know exactly what they're going through. So don't privatize the VA. Absolutely start there with not doing that. Second of all, we have enough money in this country. We have enough money to send those boys and girls to war. We should have enough money to send them back and take care of them. It's just a matter of priorities. We can do it, Greg. We just have to have our priorities. And it starts with all the honor and respect. And this summer we had a picnic for veterans, and it was amazing. I think last year we had 20, 30 people show up. This year, 150, whatever, because we reached everybody, every veteran, and we told them, we showed them that Democrats care for veterans. We love our veterans. Thank you, guys. And thank you for your service.
Thank you for all veterans, active duty military personnel, families, caretakers. Next Wednesday from 4 to 5 at Swill Coffee, we'll have our first roundtable coffee with Koble, specifically for veterans to express their concerns, to talk about their issues, because Clint is here to hear. So that's next Wednesday, 4 to 5 p.m. at Swill Coffee.
So, and please remember that I am here to hear, so it's not about me doing all the talking. So I'm going to stick around tonight till the last one of you leave, so I can listen to your voice. And before we go further with any more questions, I just want to acknowledge a few people. Sarah Mahler. Sarah, Washington again. And Paul Paulitis, one of my great friends and a candidate for 2020. And I should say that Greg Shorts was a candidate last year. Anybody else run last year? Anyway, thank you so much for everything. Any more questions? Oh, Heidi how could we forget? Heidi Howe. Thanks, Heidi.
She should be our sheriff.
Yes, you did a wonderful job.
I have a question for you. I have a question.
Oh boy, here come the F-bombs.
No. Say it, guys. Dave Mulligan, Facebook warrior. For the record. If you had a phone call from a Russian gentleman who said, "I'd like to help you in your campaign." What would you say?
I don't know if I should say this.
Use an F-bomb if you like.
I'll use a couple of letters like F-O, die.
Can you believe this is happening in America, where the Republicans are actually protecting and ignoring the fact that Russia not only it was involved in the last presidential campaign, but are ready to do it again?
I wouldn't say anything other than I'd get his name, hang up, and call the FBI. That's the very first thing I would do. I don't want that mess of me talking to anybody in America. Question?
Yes, as a mom, in Nevada, I love Nevada. I grew up with our education system. My mom was very concerned about it with 2 small girls. What would you do to help us come from the bottom of the stage?
From the worst to the first? Well, I think it starts with our little angels, and I think we should have universal pre-K, at 3 years old or something like that. It starts there. And we've got to fund our education. We've got to give our teachers a living wage. We don't need teachers working 2 extra side jobs. That's ridiculous. I'd also like to see that we mandate that all students stay in school till they're age 18, unless they can graduate sooner. It's a very complicated world, very technological world, science-based. We need to keep our kids in school. We need to reduce our classrooms. We need to actually put some money into it, put our money where our mouth is. That starts with overhauling some of the property tax formulas here so we can better fund our education. So there's a lot of things to do, short-term and long-term, some direct, some indirect, but I think it starts with those little angels at 3 years old and universal pre-K. That's what I would like to see.
Hi, someone asked earlier about the country being divided. Even our own Congress within the Democratic Party is divided. How do you feel about impeachment inquiry and what is happening right now with the Mueller hearings and investigation?
Well, I'll just talk about the Mueller hearings and then I'll address the impeachment. I was pretty sickened by it because it's like I kept hearing that this guy was guilty, he did criminal acts, it just didn't get caught or get tagged for it. That was my feeling, so it really sickened me. I have to tell you, I was asked a lot of times, would you be in favor of impeachment? Well, hopefully in 2020, I won't have to worry about that because he'll be gone. And I wasn't originally in favor of impeachment because I thought, okay, you need hard evidence. You need hard evidence. And I didn't want the Democrats to be chasing something they couldn't prove because not enough information has been out because there's still some investigations going on. But something recently threw me over the top, and I have to tell you, Lisa, I'm all for impeachment, and I'll tell you why. When a president gets up there and says, go back where you came from, that's impeachable if you ask me. That's racist, it's wrong. And you don't need a president who divides our country like that. That is wrong, and that changed my mind. Next question, I'm getting fired up here, I apologize. Will?
So, I'm a professor at UNR, and Clint and I have talked a lot about education. I'm in the Department of Teacher Education. But one thing that impressed me with you when we talked is you mentioned the need to really prepare students for the jobs of tomorrow, not just the jobs of today. And I don't think that's something we always talk about. But here in Nevada, kind of what opportunities do you see for new jobs, newly emerging jobs in technology that you can fight for funding for our students in our classrooms?
Well, there's a lot of technical jobs, whether it's in the mining industry, agriculture, science. There's a lot of need to send some of our students to some of the trade schools and get skills. Not everybody's meant to have a 4-year degree. So if we're going to provide education, I think we should start with giving free education to at least community colleges and some of the skilled schools, the trade schools, and things like that. We also need to talk to our unions. They have such great programs in apprenticeship. So if students don't want to go on to college, they can jump into a union, good paying wage, get a trade, and then get a great paying job. So I think we have to look at just the choices that our students want. Not one shoe fits all. So we have to work hard at that. So, and I think hopefully we can give them more than a 2.4% raise the next time. I keep telling Wendy, okay, where are you going to spend all your money? Thank you, Will. Another question. Barbara, go ahead. I have to admit, I need to research that more. That's why I've got Will and Clint, who are both teachers, by the way, who can give me more information on that. So thank you for that, Barbara. Other questions? Tony?
Two sort of related questions. Do you have a program for outreach to minority communities? And what is your view on criminal justice reform?
Well, I'll tackle the last one first. I'm totally in favor of criminal justice reform. When we put someone in jail for having a little weed in their pocket or something like that, and throw them 3 stripes and they're out, and we throw them in jail for 30 years, we've taken away that entire life of that individual. So we need to look at, does the sentence fit the crime? And I don't think it has for a lot of our people in jail. So we really do need criminal justice reform. I know they addressed it this year in the state assembly, and I think we're looking at it at a national level. I've talked to some of the other candidates who are running, and that really needs to be important. First part of your question again, Tony, I'm sorry for that, was?
Outreach to minority communities.
Oh, well, that's easy. I think if you're going to outreach to like Latinos, you're going to outreach to the Native Americans, you need a Latino coordinator, you need a Native American coordinator. You need to sit down and talk with those folks. You need to sit down and listen. That's how you get more things done than sitting down and listening. The old adage is just go where the people are, and you need to go to some of their events and things like that. Fiesta on Wells is coming up, and that's a great place to meet tons of Latinos and talk to them about the issues and the services that they need and they want. So it's a lot of hard work, Tony. They're all over. And that's not even talking about the 88,000 nonpartisans that we have to snag. So they're a big minority. Trish, did you have a question? Sorry?
When you get into Congress, how are you going to deal, and where do you see you fitting in as a very new congressman? I mean, our Congress right now is pulling against each other. You've got the new people who want to go, and then you've got the LNC people who are saying, let's wait. Where do you see yourself fitting in, that gang?
Well, I think the very first place I'm going to fit in is with the Nevada congressionals. We've got great congressionals. We have 2 women that are state senators. Why not start there? Why not start with 3 Democratic congressmen and women from Southern Nevada? That's where I want to start. They can help me through the ropes. They can help me in how to propose a bill, how to form alliances and get support for a bill and things like that. So they can tell me where the power is and what you got to do and things like that. So we'll have to figure out. Politics sometimes is a complicated thing. But I'm going to start with our Nevada delegation because I know they're fighting for me, they're fighting for you, Trish, and they're fighting for everybody in this room, and that's where I'm going to start with.
Anything else? I'm going to pull the manager card. I'm going to shut this down now. If you want to have a conversation with Clint afterwards and ask this question, please feel free to do so. But before we break off for the night, I just want to say, as you can see tonight, Clint is our guy. There is dark money from ExxonMobil, from the Koch brothers, flowing into Amadeus' pockets. He's able to outraise us 10-1, and he's going to. But this is where we come in. We're not turning to the Koch brothers. We're not turning to ExxonMobil. We are 100% people-powered. So in the back of the room, you might see some envelopes. Larry has some envelopes here. Larry, would raise your hand. That's Larry. Please donate whatever you can. $5, $10, $15. Make it recurring, but make it meaningful. Help us out. And I've got one more thing to say. Sorry, Clint. We thought this out. In order to turn Nevada blue, we have to flip CD2.
I just want to go back to you, Tony. You talked about outreach for minorities. In the back of the room is Larry Jackson from Fallon. I talked about having a Latino coordinator, Native American coordinator. Larry's our rural guy, and we know it's a tough race out there, but we need a rural guy. So that's how we win this race. We have to win big here, and we have to do it as well as we can in the rurals, and that's why we've got a rural guy. That's why we've got Larry Jackson. So thank you, Larry. And thank you all. This was really fun. I'm going to hang around, but maybe you get something to eat. So enjoy yourself. Thanks again for coming. Stop waiting so you can actually go outside.
Way to go, Clint!